Hello, and welcome back to the Oxendine Law Podcast. I am your host, Jarrod Oxendine, along with my co-host, Christine Palmer. And today we're going to talk about managing stress and emotions during the divorce case. Divorce is not just a legal process, it's an emotional journey. Today's episode is all about managing stress and emotions during this challenging time. We're going to offer you advice and resources to help you take care of yourself mentally and emotionally while navigating the legal side of things. So let's get right into it. And Christine, I hate to be sexist, but I think it's a well-known fact, at least it's going to be a well-known fact in this room, that guys are not as in tune with their emotions as women are, theoretically. You may be the exception, some people say Christine's more of a guy than I am.
Bad. Yes.
But since you theoretically are supposed to be more in tune with your emotions, why don't you kick this episode off?
I'm happy to. And who better to bring you this information than your divorced attorney? For those of you who know me already as clients and those of you who will meet me in the future, I personally myself am divorced. So it's a complicated thing when sometimes they'll say like surgeons make the worst patients or doctors make the worst patients. Why? Because they know all those potential outcomes. When you're sitting there saying, oh, and I need surgery, the surgeon says, we're just going to do A, B, and C, and you're going to be fine. You believe it. But that surgeon, when he goes under the knife, he knows all the potential problems. And that's us, right? So I'm like, okay, it's time for me to be divorced. It'll go great, right? But oh my gosh, like I know all the potential problems that could come. I know personally how the stress can affect you. And I am extremely in tune with my clients and where their emotional stress level is throughout the entirety of my divorce. I tell my clients all the time, reach out to me, listen to me. I use the phrase, my coined phrase, my voice is verbal Xanax. If you listen to me, don't wait to talk back to me. If you listen to me and really take to heart what I'm saying, I promise you're going to reduce your stress level. Number one, I'm going to give you advice of how to reduce the stress level outside of me because you do not have 24/7 access to me. Even if I wanted to give it to you, I couldn't give it to all of my clients. So there's got to be somebody else that you can reach out to that's going to help you through this time. My advice is be very careful who that is. Family's not always the best choice. Sometimes, number one, they're just going to have your side. You don't want a yes man. Like the person that you're running this stuff by, you don't want that to be your yes man. You don't want the person that's just going to hype you up and say, yeah, yeah, yeah. You're making real life decisions. And I'm helping you with the legal side. And I will do everything I can to help you with the personal side as well. But I am not the person best suited to help you on the personal side. Those that know you best are. I do work hard to get to know my clients and make sure I can become that person to a degree. But let's find you a stress buddy. And sometimes they're in the most unlikely places. I can't tell you how often it becomes a coworker. Usually someone sort of on your level, not your boss, not anyone that's an inferior, because you don't want to have the idea that like if it's someone below you that they have to listen to you because you're the boss. Or if you're trying to talk to your boss, you might step off and may say the wrong thing and they lose confidence in you as an employee. But those coworkers that are on your level, who knows you better than those people? You spend more time with them ever. So
if you pick the right stress buddy, sometimes we'll see them come in the office, right? I mean,
yeah, me too.
what you said about don't pick somebody that's going to stoke the fire is absolutely on point, though, because if you pick the wrong friend or wrong family member, they're stoking your fire. They're telling you everything that they think you want to hear, and they're comparing their situation to yours and saying, well, I got this in my divorce, so you got to make sure. That's not the person you want. You want somebody that's there as a supporter. And if you get that right type of stress buddy, we have them in the office all the time, which is actually a great idea to bring your stress buddy to your meetings with your divorce attorney. Why? You're going to feel more comfortable, but also you're not going to probably hear everything we say. It's going to go in one ear and out the other. That stress buddy is going to remember the things that you've forgotten, and you can talk to them when you leave our office. Oh, what was that they said about this? And they'll be able to fill in those blanks for you. But that's one of the great things about our office, and I love about me and you and our team, is that we are very sensitive to listening to our clients. What you said about making sure that you talk it out. You need to talk out the personal side, with your stress buddy, your friends, but we also will listen to the personal side and we'll listen to the legal side. And what can reduce the stress is making sure that you're not holding things in. Too many clients come in, they're all buttoned up and they're scared to talk. And they're short and to the point, which is fine. There's a time for that.
Yeah.
But if you have things that are emotional that you need to say, or you need to be heard, or you want us to know how this is how what your spouse has done has affected you emotionally, you're going to feel not only more comfortable with us, but we're also going to be able to have all the information that we need to best adequately handle your case and give you a very clear roadmap on what we're going to do on day one, and where you're going to start at point A and how we're going to get you to point Z and how long it's going to take, and what to
You
expect in the
can't see that
process.
path, but we can.
And so that reduces stress.
Of course it does. And I do say, how I have had the experience of being there myself. I don't compare my divorce to anyone else's because mine was extremely unique, like the most amicable divorce that could ever have been. So I'm not trying to say, oh, I've been there. I know exactly how you feel. But what I can tell you is so many people come in and it's just such an emotional time and they feel so lonely. They really believe that they are in a situation that no one's been in before. And I would never break confidentiality. I never say names. But when I can tell you straight up, listen, I have this client that has dealt with this situation, and I have a client who's dealt with this other situation, speaking neutrally, of course, but it helps when you hear, wait, so what happened with them? I'm like, oh yeah, they've been divorced for 6 years. We actually still get cocktails on a regular basis. And, she's re-engaged to someone else, or she's just really happy single or with a guy, like same thing. Like, I know that you may think you need somebody, like, let's work on making you super independent. So when I'm able to tell you that I've been there and my clients that have been there and their success stories, like if you're really just paying attention, I can show you a path, not just to the legal end, but to improve your life. Jarrod and I have a phrase that we use all the time. Like we're not divorce attorneys, like we're in the business of improving families. And that's my goal in any case, especially a divorce case, is we really are improving your family's situation. Divorce has a negative connotation. And sometimes you're embarrassed. You're embarrassed to tell your church friends. You're embarrassed to tell your coworkers. You're embarrassed to tell the people, the other moms and dads at your kids' school, because there is sort of this negative connotation or an idea of failure. Your marriage didn't work, and it's like you couldn't be a good enough wife to make this work. You weren't a strong enough husband to make this work, and you let that stress just get in your head. Like, talk it out with me because number one, you're going to find out it's way more common than you think. You're in your own head. Listen to my verbal Xanax. Let me talk you down. But that's part of what we're here for too, because I can do that at the same time while presenting out your legal strategy. I think it's important to share that with me. I have had clients in the past who, number one, they say, well, you charge hourly. I'm like, well, listen to what happens. If you don't talk to me about your emotions and you don't talk to me about your personal side, we end up having 3 times as long of a conversation later down the road because I have taken a path in your case that may not best suit you because you were scared to tell me how nervous you are, about how scared you are about the future about that. So talking out with me what your stress levels are, I can help you reduce them, but I can also plan so that I can erase that stress at the end of your case. I've had a mom before who was like, she worked and she worked and she worked and she worked and she was the primary breadwinner. Yeah, husband worked and he made money, but she had this like idea that she was going to be stigmatized if she didn't ask for primary custody. Like, what mom doesn't ask for primary custody? I'm like, hey, we're here to improve your family. If you've got a supportive dad on the other side and he's willing to step up and do the primary parent role while you still go make enough money that you're putting away money for your children's college fund. You're doing the thing so that when they turn 16, they can have a car. You're still serving your children in the role that you're best served. And you still see them on a regular basis. You see them 5 out of 14 nights or 6 out of 14 nights just because you didn't get exactly 50-50. But again, that stress of what are other people going to think? Or, gosh, what if I don't like this? What if I sign up for this and then I hate it? So we talk about all those things. So really managing your stress, the best thing you can do is let it out. Tell me about everything that stresses you and let my verbal Xanax take it away, but also let me tailor your legal side of your case to what best suits you on the psychological, emotional, and your mental side.
And the good news is you will get through it. I mean, let's face it, there's a lot of people that do not want to get divorced. Their hand is being forced because their spouse wants a divorce and they don't. Now, there are plenty of people that are already planning their divorce party before they even file a case. But if you're one of those people where this is just stressing you out emotionally, you can't fathom what life's going to be like without this person, guess what? We will get you through it. There's going to be light at the end of the tunnel. And the way you're feeling now is not going to be the way that you're feeling by the end of the case. And you are going to look back once you actually separate from this person, and you're going to realize all the reasons why your marriage was not what you thought it was.
Yeah.
And you're actually going to get to the point where you're now excited and you're independent and you're free and you're like, oh my gosh, I can't ever imagine a life back with that person. How did I live this way as long as I did?
How am I going to
Everybody.
survive? And then you look back, you're like, no, how was I surviving in
Right.
another situation?
I know very few clients that have not felt that way by the end of
For
their
sure.
case. But some people need extensive therapy, should we call it intensive therapy? And there's nothing wrong with getting professional help if you need it. I think some people are scared that if they go and get a counselor or get counseling during their divorce, that somehow is going to be used against them. It's actually the opposite.
Yeah.
We everybody, the
commend
court,
you.
yes,
Yes.
us, we would support you. Everybody's going to support you, not going to hold it against you to get counseling. Some people, depending on their mindset and how stressed out emotionally they are, they may need counseling 2 times a week,
Yeah.
or 3 times a week. That's
It
not
may need to be mandatory in person. Like Zoom's not good enough, phone's not good enough. Do what makes you become better. And don't worry, but talk it out with us. But like you said, yeah, if I go get on anti-anxiety medicine, my husband's going to use that against me. No, I'm going to use it for you.
right.
I'm going to tell the court that you're doing everything above and beyond to be the best person, mother that you can be. And you're setting yourself up for success in the future. And if the other side's not doing that, that's an advantage to you. It's never a problem to take some medication if that's what's been prescribed to you, to seek counseling and seek assistance. Gosh, how often do we have with this divorce process come some level of ramping up toward addiction, drinking too much, maybe misusing certain pills. So yeah, don't go that route because we can work through it, but I've got to know that you're stressing. And when you're that strong person that it was like, I'm the one that's filing, you knew you want a divorce. You came in with no questions. You know, I do not want to be in this marriage anymore. Nothing he or she can say or do to get me back. I want out. That person still has a moment somewhere in this process where they say, gosh, do I? Am I doing the right thing? Did I make a rash decision? Am I throwing away an entire marriage over one mistake, or was it just that? But talk to me about it because it's not. You're not. Nobody's made that decision and then said, "Oops, my bad." It really wasn't that bad. But talk about it.
Well, and also don't always assume that you're the problem.
Yeah.
I mean, not everybody, but a lot of people assume that when their spouse files for divorce that it's something wrong with them. They didn't do something right or they could have done something better. Most often, if not almost always, it has something to do with that other person. And you may never, ever know the real reason why.
Sure.
And that's okay.
Right.
That's okay. There's a reason it's not working out. But at least you can look yourself in the mirror with a good conscience and say, hey, I did everything I possibly could to make this work. But it takes 2 people and I've only got 1. And there's nothing wrong with that. The other reason you got to get rid of the stress and manage your emotions in the case, not only for your own mental health and well-being, but it's so that you can make rational decisions regarding settlement in your case. The last thing you want to do, and we will prevent you from doing it as best as we can, but we always have some clients sometimes that are making decisions based on emotion.
Right.
They're not looking at the practical nature of what makes sense financially for them when they're making financial decisions. It's about the principle, or it's about wanting to punish the other person or getting back at them for what they did to them. And that's not how you should be making your decisions for settlement in your divorce case.
It's not. I mean, I had a client years ago, it's been many years, and she walked in the day that she signed up with me, deciding to file for divorce, and she looked me dead in the face and she said, I want 2 things. I want my daughter and my Jeep. And I said, okay, well, we're going to get you what you're entitled. Yeah, I get it. But by the end of that, she still to this day, it's been probably 6 years now, on the anniversary of her final judgment decree, sends me an email and thanks me every time because she says, Christine, where I was at, I would have walked away with my daughter and my Jeep. And I know that 6 year down the road, me would have regretted that decision. But that day, me had no concept at all that anything could go any differently. She's like, it was fight or flight, and I was in full flight. I wanted to be done. I didn't want to do the discovery. I didn't want my buyout of the house. I wanted my daughter in my Jeep and I wanted to disappear. And that's fine. I'm never going to push you into something you don't want, but I am going to make sure that you are not making a decision that's going to affect the rest of your life and your daughter's life in that emotional state. So I think that's why it's important to make sure that you are talking it out with me. Because if I don't know your emotional state, I might let you make a decision that you're making based on emotion, when I don't know. So let's talk about it.
Get a hold of those emotions, folks. We'll help you get there, and we'll give you access to professional resources if you need the help. Thank you for tuning into the Oxendine Law Podcast. If you're navigating the emotional side of divorce, don't forget to subscribe on all major podcast platforms for more support and guidance. And if you're on YouTube, hit that subscribe button and the bell to stay connected. Take care. We look forward to seeing you next time. Thanks for tuning in.